Hello and welcome to the Madison podcast. I am your host, the one and only New York's favorite British mortgage broker, Ben Lavender. Today I have another very special guest, one of Madison's own senior operations processing lovely ladies, Gabriella Vitale.
Yes, Vitale.
Pronounced correctly. Excellent. Awesome. How you doing, Gab?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How's your day been today? Today it's a Monday. It's the end of today, or the end of the day, or of Gab's day, I should say. So had a good day. Busy Mortgage Monday.
Yes, always good. Always good here at Madison.
Yes, that's right. Everything is good.
Yeah.
Don't you say otherwise. Okay, so Gab, it's really great to have you on. I'm always excited to have internal people on, even though to consumers and stuff, it's kind of boring. But you know what's funny is that I've had a lot of consumers say that they have seen the operation side of the podcast and they've actually really enjoyed it. It gives them good insight into our culture and our people. And you have a lot of experience in the mortgage industry, which we were kind of talking about before, which I think people would love to hear. But before we even get into that, tell us about yourself, Gab. I mean, you could talk about family, you could talk about your hobbies, whatever you like. What would you like the people to know about the great Gab?
I've been in the mortgage business for about 20 years now. I started when I got divorced, and the person who
You showed him.
The person who bought my marital home was a loan officer. Yeah, and he asked me if I needed a job. I said I did because I was a stay-at-home mom. So I became his LOA, and he taught me everything I know about mortgages. The market crashed. I needed a steady pay stub.
Well, you were doing that for how long, the LOA side?
Not long, maybe 2 years.
Got it. So that was more sales, so I didn't realize that you were in sales.
Yeah.
That's why we do these things. Great.
Yeah.
So the shift from sales and then you went into processing, obviously.
Yeah. After the market crashed, I decided I needed a job that had a steady income. So I came to operations. Cool. And I started at the bottom as an opener, and I worked my way up.
Can you talk about that for our audience, Gab? What is the difference in when it comes to the op side of the levels?
So when I started as an opener, applications were handwritten. There was no, paperless jobs. I would get a handwritten application from a loan officer. I would input it. I would do all the third-party references like the 4506T, the homeowner's insurance, the payoffs, the transcripts, all that stuff. And then as I got more experience, I decided that I got promoted into a junior processor, then processor. And then I was a manager at one point, and now I'm here.
Yes. You're a senior processor, and you do manage a team, essentially.
Yes, I do. I have my own
team. You oversee a couple.
So when I interviewed with Shaw, I was a manager at Fairway Independent Mortgage. I was an operations manager, and I decided I was going to retire. And I was retired for about, 6 weeks. And I decided that I needed to work, that it was just not healthy for me to be home.
Gotcha.
And I went back to Chase because that's what I was, familiar with, the big box banks. So I went back again as an LOA on sales side. And I worked there. I started right as the pandemic started. So I worked from February through, I ended that job on a Friday and I started here on Monday. I met Shaw about 3 months before I started.
Yeah, when did you start again? Last year? Sometime?
I started in August of 2020.
Wow. That feels like longer.
Yeah. So
because you're like a real, you're part of the crew. It feels like you've been here forever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I met with Shaw, and I loved everything that he said in my interview. I loved that it was like a small company that he was eager to build, and I liked the one-on-one with the clients. I liked how once the application was taken and it was provided, it was handed off to processing, that we had full control with the borrowers, because I like being in control, as you know. So I like all that interaction with the borrowers. I love first-time home buyers. So it was just everything he said made me excited to come to work here.
Yeah.
And everything he
has that
said
effect.
is true. When I started, I believe there was like maybe 20 people, maybe less.
There were
here.
less. Yeah, I think there was like 15, 16 of us. Yeah.
And then now I think we're 80.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
combined with Maine. Yeah.
It's exciting to see like how the company's growing. Like when I first started, we did everything. After the loans were disclosed, it came to us. We submitted them to underwriting. Now we have an opening department. We have a disclosing department. We have a submissions department. Like none of that was here when I first started. So,
Yeah, he takes action very quickly.
yeah. So it's nice to be a part of it and to see it. I told him before I retired, that's what I wanted to be a part of, something that was going to take off.
And it's all thanks to you.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm Shaw's lucky charm.
Well, seriously speaking, I mean, obviously you have, right? You've played an instrumental role in the growth. Maybe not in terms of strategy, what I'm kind of talking about like Shaw's portion, but you joined us at a critical time where our volume kind of quadrupled and we really needed some great senior processes. So you definitely helped.
Thank you.
And thank you, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So Gab, let's dive into kind of what we were talking about before we actually started. Because you worked at retail, Fairway, you said Chase. And
I worked at all the big banks. I worked at
Yeah.
Chase, Citibank, and Wells Fargo.
And obviously not to knock them, right? Because even though, I mean, I don't consider them competition, but talking smack about your competition just makes you look weak anyway. But can you talk about some of the differences that you have experienced in not just the process of the loans themselves, but have like customer experience, that kind of stuff? Like, what are some changes that you've noticed and that you also enjoy or don't enjoy?
So when I started at Chase, I was on a Chase Private Client. I always worked private bank. So I was on Chase Private Client, and we had points that we had to, meet every month. And one of which was call monitoring. And first of all, I'm competitive, so I always have to be like,
Yes.
or at least try to be the best, right? So I failed one call monitoring the whole time I was there, and it was because my client's wife was going for chemotherapy, and I asked him. I reared off the topic of the mortgage, and I asked him how his wife was doing, and I failed. And I tried. My manager tried to fight it because I was showing compassion, but it wasn't acceptable.
Not efficient or whatever.
Right. It wasn't off scale. So what I love about here is that I get to communicate with my borrowers, and we have relationships, and we laugh. We're friends now. We're family. So I have borrowers call me after they close.
Yeah.
So, it's a big difference, and it's what I enjoy. I love first-time home buyers. I love being a part of it. That's why I do this, really, because sometimes it's stressful, and I'm like, too old for this. But on a whole, when I see someone buy a home for the first time and they send me a picture with them moving in with their child or their first holiday card in their new home, it's all worth it.
It's special.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's that's definitely, even on the LO side, I think, because it's the same thing. It's stressful. This is definitely a stressful business, and it takes. Buying a home tends to bring out the worst in people in a way, because the anxiety level of buyers is absolutely tremendous. And New York business, we always say, is different to out of state. Out of state, very quick closings, very easy. As a processor, I'm sure you can attest to that. In New York, closings, these contracts are written to close in 2-3 months.
Right.
Even if we're ready to close them in 2 weeks, which we
usually
are. It takes 2 months to close. So, and their anxiety level is, tremendously high, and we experience that with them. And, I think as a veteran of the business, Gab, it's an advantage that you enjoy because you've seen so many scenarios. So you're able to really put these people at ease.
Yeah, it's true. And they welcome it. Like I find that a borrower who's on edge is because they just don't understand the process. So when you take the time and you explain to them the why you need a document, and not, they don't, if you're just asking for an updated bank statement, let's just say, and they're saying, I gave the bank statements at application, like they have to understand like the why behind it. Well, I need to show, it's expiring, or why I need to show it, or if the gift was deposited into that account. Whatever, like as long as you give them the why, they calm down and they are more appreciative and they're more able to give you what you need. It's when they don't know, really, and you don't take the time to explain something to them that they grow frustrated.
Yeah, I think that's something that every loan officer and processor needs to know. That's something that my team and I go through, like even on the sales side in the very beginning, is to walk them through the process, not necessarily because it's just about customer service and all that fun stuff. That's definitely a part of it, but it makes their experience better and less stressful when you explain everything to them up front. So you're basically saying that you're doing kind of the same thing, but on a processing side.
You're just reassuring them of what, like you said, if you told them up front, and all our loan officers do, give them very, very real expectations and what's going to be expected. They just need reassurance. They're scared. They're borrowing a lot of money, and this is a first-time experience for them. So they just want you to calm them down at some point, So, and I also want to add that here, that I've never experienced at any other lender that I worked at, that we're very high-tech IT. Right?
Yeah, I was going to get into that.
Yeah. So like I tell my borrowers immediately upon first phone call, which is when the loan is assigned to me, that they could reach me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that my work phone rings on my cell, that they can text me on that number. I have them programmed into our, the application, their name, so I know who's calling me at, whatever time. A lot of our borrowers work during the week. They're going to the bank to obtain documentation on Saturday. So they want to know that they can reach you and not get an answering machine or like have to email you, wait for you to respond. So it really is a huge plus, all the IT advancements that we have here.
As we like to call it, or Sean likes to call our tech stack. Yeah. That's the fancy word, tech stack. So that's something that we implemented recently, is being able to text our landlines. Right, you can text our landlines. I think you can fax our landlines too. It's all the same number. It's really, really cool. And Sean has a tech background himself, which is, I think, one of the advantages we enjoy as his employees. It's a huge, huge benefit. And what about, Gab, some of the updates for Encompass?
Oh, I love Encompass.
Well, you love Encompass now because we have a full-time Encompass programmer that makes constant adjustments and makes the processing so much easier. And what I'm trying to reiterate, this isn't bragging for the sake of, Madison is so cool and our tech stack is incredible and we're the best. What this stuff really does is make the consumer experience 50 times better, right? It's smoother, it's faster. So what are some of those changes that you've really enjoyed, Gab?
So when I first started, I couldn't understand why we weren't utilizing Encompass to the fullest capacity. And I always did, because I am a visual person, so I need to see and play. And like if I have to restructure like a deal, I told you I sit on my hands, like I need to be able to play with it, and we don't have right access to our lender. So I always utilized it. So when he started like making the advancements, it made my life, because now I'm training my team what I already know, right? So like now they're able to utilize everything. They see everything. You could do everything from Encompass. The borrower could fax the conditions to Encompass if they wanted to. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing, right? Everything flows from our lender directly to us. Yep. So everything's, like I said, it's very easy to access and to view. We go into our Encompass, we just click a loan number and it takes us to our lender. So it's, again, easy. It's seamless. It's a seamless process.
And as a processor, it makes your job easier too.
Yes, it is. It's everything here. Again, like I learned a lot in every job I had prior to coming here. Working for the big banks, I would have never, I wouldn't be as knowledgeable as I am now if I didn't have that experience. But here is by far the most seamless process that I've ever had.
Wow.
It's true. And it's very easy to, we follow DU or LP, whatever, There
are no stupid overlays, basically.
No overlays, yeah. And it's, it's if you have any experience, you already know what the underwriter is going to ask for. So it's not we're not really like, chasing ridiculous conditions or arguing ridiculous conditions. They're you know exactly what they're going to be because they're into you when up front. So,
and a lot of those through the opening and submission desk is, you know, that. So basically, like as we know with UWM, they have master conditions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that desk tries to basically handle those up front and make your life easier. They don't catch everything, but the majority.
Right. And now we also, I don't know if you've noticed, but in Encompass, it just rolled out. Those upfront conditions are actually in Encompass. So, like if let's just say you have a processor like a junior that's on my team who doesn't have a lot of experience, they could just look there and know what's going to be required. So it is a big help.
It makes it easier. And we're all about easy. It's not laziness, it's easiness and efficiency.
Well, yeah, and it's about smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because to someone watching this, and I talked about this when Catherine was on the podcast, is like, it sounds very complicated, but the truth of the matter is, like, our borrowers, meaning our consumers, don't like see anything of what we're talking about, right? Right, which is the ideal. We're talking about internal stuff that we're doing, which makes your life easier, and again makes their life easier, their loan process so much smoother.
Right.
So it's I think it's key. I'm definitely enjoying the benefits myself. My team are enjoying it as well, and the customer experience again is what's paramount.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And also we have Flowify, which we utilize Flowify, which the borrowers upload docs securely through that website. It flows directly to our Encompass. We don't have to like do anything. We just accept it or reject it if it's not exactly what we need. So it's not like anything that you don't want to go into our system flows over. You just delete it or reject it. So it is very helpful. It's a very smooth process for a borrower who's coming in like a new home buyer and they have all this stuff. Look, everyone's IT savvy now, right?
Yeah.
There's all these programs and stuff.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. So for them to come, fill out an application with us, it is a very smooth process. I'm sure we could get some borrowers that would back us up on say that, but it's actually true. Like I've never worked in a place that it was so seamless.
Yeah, the only thing, it's a good point, but I always talk about this too, is that most of them don't really have anything to compare it to.
It's true.
That's the only thing. So if they have a not as smooth experience with another bank, they won't know how awesome we are. But
right.
At the end of the day, I mean, you still get people that, have bought a home before, or refinanced before. Those people definitely notice the difference.
Yes.
But, I think a nice way for us to measure it is, all the reviews that we get from our first-time home buyers, that are buying, that haven't experienced buying a home or a mortgage process before.
Right.
And the fact that we have, 800 5-star reviews online, I think that says a lot. So
yes.
that's definitely a positive thing.
And we do close refinances in like 3 days. So.
Yes. Sometimes 0 days as well, which is just madness.
I've never experienced that. I mean, I never.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, this is new for us too. When I was in retail, forget it. I mean, we used to close loans in 3 to 4 weeks or CTC them there, but it was, it was, all hands on deck. It was exhausting. It was just impossible to do.
So I have a funny story. My youngest son is 24 and he's in the mortgage business, not here, because I didn't want him to be where I had to like make sure that he was like learning, right? I didn't want the responsibility because I get tunnel vision and I'm just focused on my own tasks. So he got a job with his friend who went to an Ivy League school and he became a loan officer. Okay. So he was over our house one night they were having drinks or whatever. And I asked the kid his friend, how long does it take you this was before my son started working there. I said, how long does it take you to close a refinance? With a waiver, I asked, with a waiver. And he was so proud to say 4 weeks. I was like, 4 weeks? What are you doing for 4 weeks?
I mean, to be fair, for New York, it's a waiver though.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for New York standards, that's pretty decent, but with a waiver, no.
Yeah.
No, I think our waiver average is like 5 to 6 days or something like that. I'd have to
less,
check.
yeah, because our title is usually in by the time the loan is submitted.
days, yeah.
So we're really just waiting on the payoff. If it's automated, it's going in at submission. So
that's true, and they usually are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. We enjoy those advantages. It's
yes,
nice.
It is nice. It's very nice. Again, unusual.
Yeah. Gab, can you talk a little bit more, please, about some of the major differences between, you know, being part of the broker community versus, you know, working in retail, whether it's big bank, small bank?
So this is my first experience as a broker. Like I've never, you know, done it before. You know, I'm going to go back to my favorite part of it is really the client communication. And the broker channel is by far, our rates are ridiculously low.
Yep.
We close loans so much quicker than any retail bank. During the pandemic, when I worked at Chase and I was in LOA, I was self-employment it took like maybe 5 months to close a refinance. I mean, there was like a committee, like it was ridiculous. It took forever. We were closing self-employed refinances in 7 to 10 days. Yeah. So, you know, it's a huge difference. And I think people are afraid when they hear broker, right?
Oh, yeah.
They don't understand it. I didn't understand it. Like, they don't understand, like, what do you mean you're a broker? So I'm a broker. That's what we do. We broker our loans. But you're saving on the cost of the loan. And the experience is so much more better. Like, I don't know, like my borrowers, I call them my borrowers, even though they're not mine, right? My borrowers have a relationship not only with their salesman, they have a relationship with us now, right?
Yes.
In operations. And that's going to stay, you know, and that's how our business grows, right? through referral. Any bank really grows through referral, but I find that like here, it's just different. It's really like not only we like family, like where we work, we're family with our borrowers now. Like they're like a part of our everyday.
Well, now that you're allowed to speak to them.
Yeah, now that I'm allowed to speak to them, yeah. I know. And it's funny because the things that sometimes I catch myself like holding back a little, like because I'm not so used
Old
to
habits.
To being so like open with them or whatever. But it's nice. Even with I said this in my senior meetings earlier today, like I worked at places where I didn't speak to anybody unless it was work related for 6 months because
Crazy.
You come in, you do your tasks, your job, and then, you know, you go home at the end of the day. But here, like when people come in, we kiss each other good morning, you know. It really is. We do. Like it's such a nice feeling, like to feel like I just love these kids. And, you know, I'm the mom of Madison. I have You
might have to fight Catherine for that title.
No, I have Catherine's baby picture at my desk. I'm definitely the mom of Madison. One day, one person gave me their baby picture because they called me the mom of Madison. And then by the end of the week, I had like 15 pictures. People would just print their baby picture and put it at my desk. Yeah, I'm old enough to be a mom.
You said it, not me.
I'm the matriarch of this company.
In a way, yeah. You are.
I'm the old. I am. Well, in this office, somebody in, you know.
Yes.
Yes, we're the same age, so.
Okay.
There's two of us, but yeah, I love it. I love how we connect. It's just amazing, and I think I'm very lucky to be a part of it, and I'm happy that I'm a part of it, and it's. Again, I told Sean, I'll say to the day I die, like I always wanted to be a part of something like this, and I'm so thankful because it was like a pull and tug for me. Like, am I going to leave something that I know, like very well, to come to something I don't know anything about? And I
quite a leap of faith.
Yeah, I took a chance, and I'm so thankful that I did. I love it. I tell Shaw every day, I sing on the top of my lungs on my way to work every single day here. I'm happy to come to work, and it's a nice feeling.
Me too.
I'm not saying I don't get aggravated. I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course. We get aggravated. We get stressed.
Yes.
We're human like anyone else.
But I am happy here.
Yeah, we're not watching the clock. You know what? I think it's just a special thing about this business in general is like we have real purpose behind what we're doing. What we do matters. It affects multiple people, making one of the biggest decisions of their life. I mean, it's hard to get out of bed and not care about that unless you're some type of sociopath. And then in addition to that, we have a great company culture. At least, I would like to think so.
We do.
Sure. Yeah, we do. Everyone's cool. Everyone's chill. And we work hard. Of course, we work hard. But
we do.
It's there's a time and place for little work,
and we
play.
Laugh hard too. I mean,
we do. We're great at making fun of each other.
We are amazing at it, and no one gets offended. We all laugh. And I sit next to Sarah, so another senior processor here. So we laugh.
She's next in your seat.
Yes, and we laugh probably louder. I make her laugh very hard.
I can hear Sarah laughing from my office, which is 50 feet away. It's
across the office.
It's great. But with the door closed.
That's how I know when I hear her laugh. And if I'm having a bad day and I can make her laugh, then I'm like, all right, it's all good,
And at this point, you've seen not every scenario, but is there anything, Gab, these days that like surprises you or shocks you that you haven't really seen before?
No. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything that would really shock me. You mean loan structure wise?
Yeah.
No, I mean, we have regular loans just like every other lender. There's nothing worse here or better here than anywhere else, like as far as applications. But I mean, our borrowers are really, amazing. We have great people. We work with great people.
We do. We are fortunate in that regard that we get great clients.
Yeah. And you never come across an ego here. That's one of the best things that I love about working here is that they really want to obviously close their loan. Even our referral partners are amazing.
Yep.
They all help when they can and stay out when they know they should.
Yes. And as loan officers, we filter that carefully.
Yes,
we're careful with who we let in because if you get someone that is not just overbearing, but like people can create drama for no reason. It's like we got to check them.
Yes, well, you find that in the workplace, right? Even here, you can have people that are prone to negativity, right? Who just one thing could happen in the office and they're just going to feed on that. They just want that like negativity and it becomes like a cancer. So you have to kind of like cut it out.
Yes, which we could dive deeper into, but we won't.
We won't.
Something it's even before what we're referring to, there was someone else years ago that, that got cut that was like that. And it's just when those type of people go, everything changes.
Yeah.
The morale comes up. Everyone's happy. Everyone's flowing. It's a different game.
It is a different game.
So, Gab, any final thoughts? Because we are almost out of time. Actually, I have 2 questions for you.
Go ahead.
This is more advice for consumers. The one's going to be for consumers. The other is for people in the business. So if a consumer's watching this and they're thinking of buying a home or refinancing, what is one thing that you think that, would make their life easier, their experience better if they knew this piece of information up front, if anything comes to mind?
I think that what any consumer, anyone in the loan process has to know is that documentation expires.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing. Like if it's going to expire or, like if you, especially if you have a pre-approval and the loan, you come for a pre-approval, so your docs are old by the time it's submitted, understand that we have to update docs.
Yep.
There can't be gaps with the assets. And I feel like our loan officers give their clients a very versed explanation of what's going to be expected. So they're not really shocked by that. But I think that they get frustrated at times.
There's a reason. I don't know about the other LOs, but when we have, for instance, a borrower that has an accepted offer on a home, or we know that they're about to sign contracts, the first thing that we do is we let them know that we're going to need updated pay stubs,
Right.
bank. So we try and handle as much of that as we can up front, but people are busy. Sometimes
but even sometimes in the loan process, like let's say like I have a loan that's in process and the seller has title issues. So now docs are going to expire, right?
The classic seller issues, yeah.
Yeah, so now like they're clear to close, but my docs are expiring.
Yep.
So, they have to understand that's the only thing that I like. There's no surprise. There's nothing that really we could come across that we can't fix, right, in the loan process, except seller issues.
Yes.
Right? So anything that's on our side, we could fix. But that's what the best advice I could give anyone. Just know that your documents aren't valid until you close. They're valid for 120 days.
Yeah, which is still a really long time. But sometimes these seller issues can take forever.
Yes.
I have one that, I don't know if you worked on it, Gab, but we CTC'd it back in
Yes,
July.
it was mine.
Yeah, okay, we won't say the name. So, we CTC'd it in July, and there were these seller estate issues, which we were told were taken care of, but of course, and then we closed, it's December 6th, I think we closed at the end of November.
Right.
It's crazy. Luckily, that borrower was an absolute gentleman, he's cool, and he's already referring people to us because he gets it. Okay.
And again, it wasn't on us.
No,
right?
yeah, and they know that.
Yeah.
He's a reasonable person. Okay, and the other one is same kind of question, but to people who are thinking of joining Madison, or that are looking from an operation side, or maybe even a sales side, that are in retail and are thinking of jumping over to the broker side, because as we know, broker market share has increased by about, I think 8 to 10% over the past 3-4 years. So any advice for, to those people thinking of making the jump?
I would say that even for myself, I was nervous to do it, but not to be afraid. It's really basically the same thing. It's just a different, you're not working for one specific bank, right? So it's nothing really to be afraid of. I don't know why loan officers wouldn't want to come to the broker world. I mean, processors, okay, I could understand they're a little hesitant, that we're afraid of change. We're very regimented, right?
Yeah.
So we guidelines and we're very structured oriented, right? So we're just okay, I know what I have here, I don't know what I'm going to have there. But for a loan officer that wouldn't want to switch over, I think is insanity, because it's such a better environment for your clients and for yourself, and I don't know, why wouldn't they want to come over?
Yeah,
it's just the fear of the unknown.
I could shoot a whole podcast like that by myself, and probably I will do that one day. It's just, it's easy. I've talked about how my stress level doing 3 to 5 times the amount of business is lower than when I was doing less loans back in the day. It's a different game.
Yeah, well, you're the biggest, right now, I believe that you have the biggest pipeline, right?
Changes from month to month,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
of course.
But you do have a lot of production, and so you would be the best, right? Right now, you would be the best
at this
one.
moment in
Yes.
time. And we'll
tomorrow might be somebody else.
Skylar, Eric, and John. We'll keep it rotating. Okay, so Gab, any final? Because that was kind of a final. But before we go, because we are out of time, any final thoughts? Anything you want to say?
Thank you. I just want to.
You want to say anything political?
No.
Do it.
No.
Vote for Ben. Or Gab.
Always. I always recommend Ben.
Vitale Lavender 2024.
Yeah. I'm a citizen.
I am too. Are you insinuating that I'm not a citizen? I've been a citizen for 4 years, actually. Oh, I think it's 4 years. When Trump did, because I was on a green card, so when Trump did that green card ban thing, I applied for citizenship immediately. It scared me to death.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, I was a citizen. So life is good.
Yeah.
All right, Gab. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
The official.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We out. See you next time.
Bye-bye.